good morning to everyone. I am your host and Master of Ceremony Lakshmi. We heartily welcome you all to today's Rankers Meet. It is believed that a mark of a wise man is to learn from others. Since we live a limited life, we can gain a great deal of experience and save a lot of time for ourselves by learning from others. Reckoning this fact, CA Bangalore decided to create one such opportunity for all CA students, where you can interact with rank holders, take certain tips and hints from them, not only to crack the CA exams, but also to secure marks. Before starting with the interactive session, let's invite Chairman of CA Bangalore, CA Srinivas sir, to welcome our chief guest, CA Pattabhi Ram, and present him with a bouquet. I now request Chairman of Bangalore branch of ICA, CA Shravan sir, to accompany the rank holders and occupy the areas. Thank you everyone. Let us invite energetic and charismatic Chairman of CA Bangalore to address the gathering, CA Srinivas.
Respected teacher, guru, for this unique program, Pattabhi Ram sir, young chairman for last batch of ICA, Shravan Guruttu, colleagues in the managing committee, our friends rank holders, budding rank holders, and my dear friends. Very warm, happy morning to you all. I welcome you all for this Rankers Meet. You can ask me why we have kept the name of Rankers Meet. I can see rankers, each one of you, those who are already cleared rankers and budding rankers. That is the reason, instead of meeting the rankers, I said Rankers Meet. And we are very fortunate to have Pattabhi Ram sir. He is passionate by public speaking, renowned teacher. He accepted our request when we called for this meet, and he said it's a very novel idea to conduct this program, and accepted our invitation and came as a chief guest. I thank you sir, fortunate to have you. I wholeheartedly welcome you once again on behalf of Bangalore branch of CA and ICA. And I also wholeheartedly welcome all the rank holders. The moment we invited, they came, they accepted, and they came for this program. I request CA students present a welcome bouquet to all the rank holders present on the dais. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you, friends. I am very proud and privileged to be standing before as a CICA chairman for 2018-19. The moment I became a chairman of CICA, I got an idea, I got a thought that I want to conduct this program basically because to have an interactive session, interact, get inspired, motivate, and think big. Yes, I can also do it. I can also become a qualified CA. That is the reason I created this platform and I organized this program. The reason because the moment any students joining the CA course, they will come with a mindset that, oh, CICA is a very difficult course to clear. Let me at least clear. But you know, what is the discount percentage in our exam results? In CA, you know very well, 50%. The passing percentage, 50%. The discount is also 50%. You will be knowing what is the end result. That is the reason when we aim for to become a ranker, attain for 116 or 125 marks, even 50% discount also will be come out with 75 marks and you will become a ranker. You should always dream big. The moment you start dream big, your subconscious mind works towards that. Automatically, you knowingly or unknowingly will be following that way. You will reach your dream goal. There is no crime in dreaming big. You don't have to pay any charge. You have to dream high. You have to aspire for the higher thing. I am telling you, generally they think there is no difference between just pass or rank holder. No, there is a lot of difference between a rank holder and a just pass cleared CA students. You can ask our rank holders when they will address you. Definitely you know what is the importance of becoming a rank holder. You should dream for yourself to reach your goal for a profession as a country as a whole. That is why I want you to dream big always. And you know, current scenario, the India moving towards super. By the 2020, it is going to be a best country. The economic growth is happening under the able leadership of some of the leaders, and lot of opportunities, lot of FDIs are coming, lot of countries, lot of companies coming to India for invest in India. There is lot of ample of opportunity for CAs. CA is only a platform. You got an ample of opportunity to going abroad, and you can sky is the limit. I can say so much opportunity is there. You can hear from our rank holders. So I don't want to come in between you and rank holders, especially our moderator, beloved Guru, teacher is there, Pattabhi Ram sir. You should hear it because I attended his class. I can say he is a rankers guru. Lot of students inspired from him. Lot of rankers is there from his academy. That's what I can say. Can't you do it? Can't you get a rank holder? Rank? Yes, I can. You should say, yes, I can get a rank. With this brief welcoming address, I welcome you all once again. Thank you all. Make this opportunity and take home valuable inputs from the rankers. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Let's all dream big and become proud citizens of this wonderful country. Life is a symbol of universal truth, knowledge and understanding. It acts as a guide, keeping us from stumbling in the dark. To keep us away from stumbling in the darkness and to enlighten today's event, I would like to request all the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp and inaugurate this event. Everyone. Now I would like to request the chairman of Bangalore branch of ICAI, a proficient orator, to address the gathering. CA Shravan sir.
Dignitaries on the dais, first and foremost the chief guest and the motivational speaker, CA Pattabhi Ram, my colleagues in the managing committee, CA Srinivas, CA Vicky Shetty, CA Divya, the entire knowledge pool, that is the rank holders on the dais, and the budding chartered accountants present in this gathering. A beautiful morning to one and all present here. At the outset, as the chairman of the largest branch of ICAI, let me extend a very warm welcome to one and all present here to this unique and a special program called as the Rankers Meet. Well, at the outset, let me also take this opportunity to appreciate each and every one of you for having chosen this noble profession, one of the most respectful, one of the most sought after and well-paid profession. Congratulations to each and every one of you. A round of applause for yourself for having made wonderful choice. Having said that, all of us also know that this is also touted as one of the most difficult courses. What really makes this course difficult? Is it even difficult at all? And how difficult it is if it is difficult? Well, there are a basket of traits which can all be accumulated between the planning stage and an execution stage for any kind of assignment. So same thing applies even for an examination. So important traits, when I mean, they could be determination, perseverance, courage, faith, and of course self-motivation, a lot of mental preparation. A lot of things go into making whatever you want to and whatever you want to achieve in your life. Today's program will be discussing on how these traits and how many more important factors play a very important role in helping you achieve your goal. Well, India presently requires a lot of good chartered accountants who are exceptional in their technical skills, who have the necessary decision-making skills, problem-solving skills, and importantly analytical skills, which will help companies in the financial ecosystem where they are rapidly evolving. to succeed, be it in the capacity of a finance manager or a CFO or a finance executive, etc. So this is the need of the hour. So in fact, the very motive of Chartered Accountants Institute, the ICAI, is to come out with world-class chartered accountants who are looked upon for the kind of contribution that they make to the economy. Well, drawing an analogy, apparently there was this all professionals meeting that was happening on a particular day, wherein different professionals like chartered accountants, MBAs, etc., were participating in this meeting, and the chief guest happened to be a scientist. So during the lunch break, where the lunch was served next to a swimming pool, the chief guest's watch accidentally slipped and it fell into the water. Looking at this, immediately the chief guest started shouting, "I need a chartered accountant who can go and get my watch out of the swimming pool." Hearing this, a chartered accountant immediately dives into the swimming pool and gets the watch outside. Well, after the watch was successfully rescued, one of the other delegate, another fellow professional, asked, "Why did you ask for a chartered accountant to dive when the prerequisite to save the watch is knowing how to swim and not the qualification?" So when asked, "Why did you ask for a chartered accountant?" apparently the scientist mentioned, it's only a chartered accountant who can dive inside, go deeper, stay there longer if required, and come out successful. Well, that is the unique quality of a chartered accountant that differentiates him from the other fellow commerce graduates in India. Well, how many of you have read this book called as The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz? No one. Well, out of this book, I mean, it's one of the best-selling books ever. There are a couple of things that really catched my attention. One is he has stressed upon the importance of believing in oneself that you can succeed, and the fact that you believe in that you can succeed will automatically push you to achieving your goals. Well, the I can do it kind of an attitude, if you can develop the I can do it kind of an attitude, the what should I do to achieve my goal kind of traits automatically come into you. Please remember that you should always think big and dream big. You always might think, okay, this is what I am capable of. Frankly speaking, each and every person is capable of much more than what he perceives that he is capable of. Another thing that he mentions in this book is he urges to stop making excuses. Excuses can be pertaining to the age. I am too young to achieve this, I am too old to achieve this, whatever is the reason. Another thing that he talks about is health. My health is constantly not permitting me to achieve what I want to do. Another thing that he mentions is intelligence. Of course, we have this peer pressure, of course, we have this inherent quality of comparing ourselves with others. Never underestimate yourself and never overestimate the other person. Each and every person is capable of doing it. And also another easy blame game that we play is with respect to luck. Luck was not on my side. There is nothing called as luck. It's all pertaining to hard work and the kind of efforts that you put in, the kind of energies that you channelize towards attaining your goals. Talking about hard work and the importance of continuous hard work, I have another example. Apparently there were two frogs. One frog was slightly well-built and hefty and strong and all. The other frog was a lean frog. Apparently they were all jumping around in a forest kind of an area. Apparently by mistake they fell into a bucket that had milk. And the sides of the bucket in which there was milk was so steep that these frogs could not jump out of the bucket of milk. So what happened? The big frog, both of them started swimming continuously, started continuously paddling and started moving in circles inside this bucket. The big frog thought for a moment that there are only two options. One is you swim and swim and swim, ultimately die. The second option is you know the end result, so you give up in between and anyways die and drown. So the big frog thought about this and chose the second option. It didn't try anything, it didn't even try swimming to the fullest of its might, and it drowned. Looking at this, the second frog, which was the leaner frog, It didn't want to give up its hope. It knew what was in its fate if it gives up. So thinking about that, it did not want to give up. It continuously paddled, continuously in circles again, and after a while when its limbs became really weak and it almost went into a state of paralysis kind of a thing, you know how it is if you continuously swim. When it thought to give up and when it drowned just a step below, it felt something hard below its feet. You know what had happened? Because of the continuous churning, it had created a lump of butter because it was moving around in circles in the milk. So this lump of butter, which is of course a solid, actually gave it a platform to jump out of the milk and save itself. So this is the importance of hard work. Hard work might not always have intermittent results, but ultimately at the end of the day, when we look at a bigger picture, you will always be happy to find that your hard work has resulted in efforts. For every sunset, there is a sunrise, and every part of a wheel that goes down, the same part comes up when it is in a rotating mode. So never give up on hard work. These are my 2 cents to all of you. All the very best, and I hope there are a lot of other speakers who would love to enrich you, motivate you, and mentor you. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the inspiring speech. I once again call upon the chairman of SICASA, CA Srinivas sir, to give an overview about the event.
Good morning, friends. The next 10 minutes we'll listen to our chief guest presentation, motivational speech. After that, introduction of all the rank holders, their achievements. After that, we have a strategic break for 10 minutes. Then we can have a group discussion. I want to give attention to this part because we will make smaller groups of 10 to 15 members into one group, and your group will be led by one rank holder. 1 hour they will be with you in a smaller groups. You can ask your whatever questions regarding your how to prepare, how to appear for exams, whatever questions in this 1 hour, one by one, so that sometimes one person's questions may be answered to other member also. One by you can ask for 1 hour, you can have a one-to-one interaction. After that again we'll take a break, come back, then we'll have a small kind of, not exactly an interview, we'll ask all the speakers to give advice or how they prepared or something. We have prepared a small questionnaire also. With that, posing that question, we'll ask all the rank holders to come and speak for 5 to 6 minutes. This will give validation to you. Overview of this. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. A chartered accountant by qualification, a writer and a public speaker by passion, and a teacher by accident. Our chief guest is a member of 3 professional accounting bodies in India. He is a regular speaker at the professional seminar circuit. His first novel, Ticking Times, set in the backdrop of audit profession, was released in March 2016 and has received excellent reviews on Amazon. First lesson in strategic financial management, first lesson in information technology and strategic management, and first lesson in cost and management accounting are popular among CA students. He has authored 3 other books. The first, titled Roadmap, is a self-help book and is for CA students. The second, titled How to Get the Best Out of College, and is for collegians. While the third is a career book, From a CA to CEO. An alumnus of St. Joseph College, he was voted as one amongst the 3 best graduating students. Sir completed CA internship at Deloitte. He was a rank holder throughout his college and is in his chartered accountancy. It's an honor and pleasure to invite our chief guest, CA Pattabhi Ram.
Well, good morning to all of you. Can you hear me the last row? Okay, good. It's nice to be in Bangalore, and I'm not saying that because it's the politically right thing to do. I say that because it's always a pleasure to talk to chartered accounting students. This month I've been all over the place speaking everywhere. I was at my college's alumni meet. It was wonderful to go back to college and be a speaker there. The other day, 2 days back, I chaired a session on education, skills and jobs in which some of the topmost industrialists and educators were panel speakers. All that was a great pleasure, but to me the greatest joy actually comes when I get down to address chartered accounting students, because I think I've spent a huge lot of my adult career interacting with CA students. With that very brief background, and we have an illustrious set of young achievers here who will talk to you about how the exam works, what you must read, what you must not read, how to spend your time, all that I think they will talk to you about. What I'm going to do across the next 20-25 minutes is to speak to you about what I think are the 5 most important ingredients for being successful. Obviously, for you, success is first going to be with reference to the chartered accounting exam, but more importantly, it is also what I talk to you about is also going to be important from the standpoint of success in life. Because there are very many people who have been extraordinarily successful in their academics, but who have gone on to struggle when they work in the corporate or struggle when they get into private practice. What is far more important is to, while one needs definitely to do well in the exams, because that's the first stepping stone towards success in life, it's equally important that one must have a long-term view of what one wants to do. It is in that context that I titled today's talk as Success the Pepsi Way. I should also be honest to you, I don't want to tell you that this is the first time I'm talking about this topic. I think I've spoken this topic across the length and breadth of this country, multiple places. But every time I speak, every time I interact with students, I think I get something completely new. You like this drink? No, you don't like. That's the politically right thing to say, or you really don't like? Really don't like. You like Coke? Okay, you like Coke. All right, fine. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should drink Pepsi, the cola every other day. But I'm going to pick the 5 letters from the word Pepsi, meaning I've actually constructed an acronym from there so that it is easy to remember. I think with the help of 2 activities are simple activities, which you will do seated where you are, and with the help of 3 stories that I will narrate to you, without trying to be very philosophical. With the help of these 2 activities and 3 stories, we will understand the 5 attributes that take somebody to be successful. Is that understood? Okay, we are now going to begin with our first activity. Seated where you are, you will perform that activity. You are a CA, or at least going to be a CA, so you will do all that activity in your mind. If you think no, you need to write in a piece of paper, if you have a piece of paper, you can write on it. Because I'm going to ask you 9 questions. Is that frightening? 9 questions. How many of you think you will answer all 9 questions? No. How many will answer? No try and all that. Why be defensive? There are only 4 people who have raised their hand. 8 questions. How many of you will answer? Okay, one more. 7. 5. None of these 9 questions are going to come in the exam, so don't worry. All of them are remarkably simple questions. There are 4 questions in arithmetic. There is 1 question in English language. I think there are 2 or 3 questions in geography. You think you can answer them now? Alright. If you know what I'm going to tell you, if you have heard this before, many of you are likely to have heard this before, please don't give away the answer. Okay? Please don't give away the answer. Please don't give away what is sought to be done. All the 9 questions, if you want, you can write the answer in a piece of paper. Don't shout out the answer, because I know people get very excited when they know an answer to a question. Please don't do that. You have understood? Yes? We can start? Okay. I want you to think of a number which is less than 10. Any number which is less than 10. Any number, maybe for ease 1 to 9 or any number of your choice. You have done? That was question number 1. Look how easy the questions are. They are as easy as the questions in the CA exam. Okay? I said as easy as the questions of the CA exam, very consciously. Multiply this number by 2. You got a result? To this result add 8. You got a new result? I think about 3 questions are already up. Whatever answer you have got, divide by 2. Done? From this final number which you now have, you deduct an original number. The original number that you thought. You now have a number. You want me to repeat the questions or you're clear? Clear. Now I want you to think of the equivalent English alphabet. To give you an example, if the number that you now have is 5, the equivalent English alphabet is E. If the number that you now have is H, the equivalent if you now have is 8, the equivalent alphabet is H. And because the institute is moving towards an open book exam, I am going to put out an open book here. Okay? Whatever number you now have, it's equivalent English alphabet picked from here. I didn't have space, so I stopped at 9. Otherwise, I would have put all 26. You have got the equivalent English alphabet? I'll quickly repeat. One number, some number, multiply by 2, add 8, divide by 2, subtract the original number. Correct? They are equivalent English alphabet. Now I want you to think of a European country which starts with the name of that equivalent English alphabet. European country. You're having difficulty? No difficulty. If you're having difficulty, you did one of those arithmetics wrong. You've got the name of the country. Pick up the last letter of the name of the country and think of an animal whose name starts with that alphabet. That animal can be in India, that animal can be in Australia, that animal can be in Czechoslovakia, wherever. You have thought of the animal? Okay. Pick up the last letter of the name of the animal and think of a fruit which starts with that alphabet. Finished? 9 questions are over. All those of you who thought Denmark, put up your hands. Kangaroo, orange, oh, wonderful. Please give yourself a big clap. The rest of them can also give them a big round of applause. What is the moral of the story? Because my first attribute is almost over now. What is the lesson that we draw from here? Yeah, we need some answers here. You are from Bangalore, you are from the city where the Indian Institute of Management is there, the Indian Institute of Science is there, you are in the center of academic excellence. Of course, you are sitting right here in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So what is the moral of that story?
How simple things can be sophisticated.
How simple things can be sophisticated. Okay. There are different answers I have generally heard. Some people say great men think alike. To people who say great men think alike, I tell them fools seldom differ. But the short point is that I read your mind, or many of you thought alike. There was no great deal about it. Today, ask the same questions at home. Go ask your father, go ask your mother, go ask quote unquote your friend, whomsoever you want to go ask. Ask the questions in the same order. They will all come out with Denmark. They'll all come out with kangaroo. They'll all come out with orange. Okay? Just in case you did not pick what I said, if you begin with X, 2X, etc., you will know that you will end up with D, you will end up with 4, 4 is D. D, the only country that comes to our mind is Denmark. K is obviously kangaroo. If people have not picked up, you tell them Australia, they'll pick up. And then of course, there is just the orange. So the moral of the story is what I call the power of the process. The process is very, very important. If you have your process right, your end will be right. The raw material is unimportant, the finished product is unimportant, if the process is okay, you will end up doing exceedingly well. That is why, I don't know how you do your classes, that is why in classrooms, most good teachers tell people that they need to understand the concept. That there is no point in saying, do this step, next is this, without understanding what is happening. If you understand what is happening and lay down a clear process for yourself, whatever that process might be, if you lay down a clear process for yourself and follow it, you will achieve it. You see that best happening in some of India's top audit firms. You have what we during our time used to call the checklist, You today call it the audit program, you call it by whatever name. A first year intern carries a checklist, carries a questionnaire, and is able to come out with a good report. The merit he follows it. So the first important attribute for being successful is to have a process. The first alphabet P in Pepsi stands for process. We'll go to the second one. I'll tell you a story. This story, again, I have told in hundreds of places, but I'll repeat this story. Some of you might have heard about it, some of you might have read about it. You'll have to forgive me for repeating it. Okay? I don't know what the position today is, but when I studied, the best and brightest boys and the best and brightest girls went to either engineering or to medicine. It was very few people, maybe some like me, who chose CA, who chose what we then called commerce, arts, CA, whatever they called by choice. Many of them came to CA by accident, at least in my generation. They were the guys who studied BSc biology. They tried, medicine, did not get medicine, jumped into chartered accountancy. Okay, and maybe they might have done well also. So most of the guys who came to class level always had this inferiority complex that the best boys are sitting in the physics and chemistry classes, we are sitting in the useless accounting class. I had a teacher in class level, one of the most outstanding teachers that I've ever come across. On the very first day, looking at our hand dog expression, he knew that we were all upset, or 90% of us were upset. It was a 75 class strength in class level. He said, on the very first day, he said, all the laws of physics are copied from the laws of accounting. Everybody sat up, what is this man telling? And I think I was privileged to be in a classroom that had really top class brains. The guy who was seated next to me just whispered, loud enough for the teacher to hear. He said, "Professor, please don't bullshit." This was his exact words. And the professor heard it. That's why I always think he's an outstanding professor, because he never took offense. He said, "No, do you know Newton's third law of motion?" You know Newton's third law of motion? What is it? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Albert Newton came in the 18th century. So we all say, yeah, Albert Newton, 18th century or whatever. And then the professor said, do you know about a man called Luca Pacioli? Nobody had heard about Luca and nobody had heard about Pacioli, so we all blinked. He said Luca Pacioli lived in the 15th century. He was the father of modern bookkeeping. Pacioli laid down the third rule of accounting, which rule is what Isaac Newton has copied. And he said the third rule of accounting is what? Every debit has a corresponding credit, not just a credit, corresponding credit. So we were all very happy because it was the equivalent of every action as an equal and opposite reaction. Story doesn't end there, story continues. Then one day he said, after he had finished trial balance and balance sheet, he said, all these idiots were in the physics and chemistry lab. Those were his words, not mine. I'm far more polite than that. He said, all these idiots were in physics and chemistry lab. When they come out of their experiments, they don't know whether they have done their answers right or wrong. But you guys are not like that. When you finish your trial balance, so he said that you finish your trial balance, you will know what. You are a good guy, so you said right or wrong. Our teacher said, when you finish your trial balance, you will know that you are wrong. Okay, that's what he said, that's incidental. But he actually meant whether you are right or wrong. So we were all very excited. He said, oh, this is lovely. And then he finished the balance sheet. And then he asked anybody has a question. This fellow seated next to me, today is one of the outstanding guys in India, so I'll not name him because I'm sure 80% of you will recognize him. He put his hand up, sir, I have a doubt. So professor said, why do you have a doubt? What is the doubt you have? He said, those were the time liabilities used to be written on the left and assets on the right, not the top-down order. So he said, sir, why do liabilities always appear on the left and assets always appear on the right? So despite the fact I still consider my teacher as the best guy ever, he didn't have an answer. So he did the next best thing. He said, shut up and sit down. So our poor fellow shut up and sat down, and then he turned to me. He said, do you know what is the answer? I told him, boss, I also don't know the answer. I had the same doubt. You had the courage to ask the teacher. I did not have the courage. That is about all. So I told him, don't worry. One day, one teacher will come substitute. this guy will fall sick one day, he will not come. Like, our chairman was telling, health. So one day this man will fall sick, he will not come. That time we'll ask the substitute teacher. My friend was not a guy who will wait. So every day to any guy who was in class 12, who comes his day, he'll say, why do liabilities come on the left and assets on the right? After some time, people started avoiding him. If he is 15 feet away, people would just like to run away. And then, like I said, one bright morning, this teacher fell sick. The other guy came. This guy was restless. My friend was restless. 20 minutes into the class, after the teacher had finished, I still remember after he had finished rectification of entries, and he had done it in his own Jasi wonderful way, he asked boys and girls any question, and this fellow put his hand up. Everybody started laughing. And maybe 75 people, 73 people were laughing. I didn't laugh because I also had the same doubt. And then one girl from the middle row said, sir, listen to his question, you will also laugh. She said, no, I don't laugh at students' questions. Go ahead, ask. So this boy, by now everybody knew his voice. He said, sir, why do liabilities always come on the left and assets always come on the right? I still remember the professor's words, word for word I remember. He didn't even blink an eyelid. The professor said, young boy, go home this evening, take a look at a wedding photograph, you will know why liabilities are on the left. The import of that answer is not to blame anybody. The import of that answer is that it was remarkable because nobody thereafter forgot why liabilities are left and assets are right. By the way, today don't go and take a look at your dad's wedding photograph, okay? Don't do that. This guy used to ask such wonderful questions. He would ask such wonderful questions. He would ask, why is it called profit and loss account when it's either a profit or a loss? I once even asked him, why do you ask such questions? He said something which for a 15-year-old was very, very profound. I that time did not seriously understand what he said, but over a period of time, by the time I was 25, I understood what he meant. He said, it is good to stand up in a classroom, ask a question, and be counted as a fool for 5 minutes. He said, it is good to stand up in a classroom, ask a question, and be counted as a fool for 5 minutes, than to never ask the question, never know the answer, and be a fool forever. That was no remarkable insight from someone who's 15 years old. No wonder he's gone better places. The point that I'm trying to make is that in classrooms, you must ask questions. Today you have the benefit of some of the outstanding achievers. You must ask them questions. You should not allow them to address you. You should not let them come to your table and tell you this is what they did. You should ask them what did they do. You should ask your doubts to them, howsoever naive those doubts might be. When you go to the final, the classrooms, you must ask questions. It is very, very important to have an inquiring mind. In my office and in our classroom, we have a board like that, bigger than that, with Albert Einstein's picture there, which says even Albert Einstein asked questions. I'll now move on to the third one. The second one was enquire. The second letter in Pepsi, E. E stands for enquire. We go to the third one. I wanted to take a look at this man. I wanted to recognize him. Don't tell me you don't recognize him. That's not my face, by the way. Although it comes very close in terms of a hang dog expression, it comes very close. Who is he? Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras once held the world record for 14 Grand Slams until this magic fellow called Federer broke them. Pete Sampras was a man who had no emotion in his face. Win a match, lose a match, win a point, lose a point, he has no expression in his face. Once after he won a Grand Slam, a television journalist asked Sampras, what do you do after you play tennis? Sampras said, I play tennis. So the journalist did not understand. He said, Sampras, what do you do after you play tennis? Sampras said, I play tennis. Now the journalist thought that Sampras had not understood the question, so very slowly he said, Pete Sampras, what do you do? I heard that exchange, so I am able to tell you. Pete Sampras, what do you do after you play tennis? And Sampras said, I play tennis. That is when the journalist realized what Sampras was telling. So he said, Sampras, after you play tennis, what do you do? And Sampras said, I play tennis. This time this guy was cheesed off. He said, after you play tennis, what do you do? And now Sampras was angry. He said, after I play tennis, after I play tennis, after I play tennis, I play tennis. End of the story. What is the moral? Practice. The guys, the outstandingly successful people are all people who put tons and tons and tons of hard work. We only see the award nights. We only see a Virat Kohli pick up a prize money. We only see an Amitabh Bachchan collect his check. We only see the adulation that a Sachin Tendulkar gets. You know, his what should I say, his last match, those magical last 20 minutes was remarkable. We only see that. But we don't realize that behind all that there are huge amount of it. There is nobody in this world, whether he is in the world of politics, whether he is in the world of theatre, whether he is in the practice of chartered accounting, or whether he is a doctor, or whether he is a whatever, who has not put in effort to succeed. And there is a very famous saying in the English language. It says, success precedes work in only one place. Where? The English dictionary, not even the dictionary. It is the English dictionary. You won't find that in the Hindi dictionary. You won't find that in the Kannada dictionary. So it is very important for you to put in lots and lots of hours of work, not just now, across whatever you do later. Meaning, don't think that the minute you pass your CA, everything is nice and fine. These guys who have finished their final, who are obviously now in a celebratory mood, and it is good that they celebrate, because when they start working, they'll have less occasion to celebrate because they'll have to put in actually more hours of work. They'll have to put in more hours of work. So this business of practicing, preparing oneself for the big event is very, very important. Usain Bolt gets that 1 second of world attention, but for that he puts in hours and hours of running. I'll now go to the fourth one. This one is a little longer, so I'll take about 10-15 minutes more, that's okay. This is called smart study. The S in Pepsi stands for smart study. I'll pick up just a couple of examples. I will skip this one because you might have seen this. I want you to look at this. This is an exercise that we do. This is an activity that we will do. There are 54 numbers there, running from 1 to 54 in order, but they are all jumbled. I want you to, do you see where is number 1? Do you see where is number 2? Now what I want you to do, I'll give you 30 seconds. I want you to see 1, 2. After you have seen 2, you must go see 3. No cheating. After you have seen 3, you must go find 4. You understood? Like that in 30 seconds, let's see what number do you reach. No, even if you go nearer, you won't find it. I think 30 seconds must be up, roughly. How many numbers you have got? Highest we will see. 5. 70. You have seen 1 to 16? Sure? Okay. The highest number that I so far got was 70. Until sometime this month I did somewhere somebody got 19. The max that people are able to see is about 17 to 19. If you have reached 17, good. If you have reached 13, excellent. Now, the same sheet, the same number, no cheating by me. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to put that next slide. I'll give you a clue and then let's see what you do. I've broken up into 9 quadrants. I tell you that the first number is the first quadrant, 2 is in quadrant 2, 3 is in 3, 4 is in 4, 9 is in 9, 10 is in 1, 11 is in 2, 12 is in 3. You understood? Yes. Now I'll give you 30 seconds. Let's see how much numbers you pick up. The rules are still the same. You should look one number before you go to the other. Where are we? 35. Almost 2 times the number. Almost 2 times the number. Activity is over. What is the moral of the story? Sorry? Structuring. Or in other words, finding out the method in the madness. Our syllabus is full of madness. I, for the life of me, never understood our income tax, never understood our, accounting standards, never understood many things. But in all of them there is a method. If you can find out the method by yourself or with the help of your teacher or with the help of whomsoever, then you will hit it hard. And the subjects on which you are weaker, you must search the methods faster. I call it methods. She said it being well structured, which means that you having steps, you lay down steps for yourself on how to compute. But the point is that I don't want you to lose heart. I don't want you to go to the next one. Anyone who has not seen this, because many would have seen this, anyone who has not seen this, I want them to volunteer reading it. If all of you have seen this, I'll skip and move forward. Anyone who has not seen this? You have not seen? Okay. Can you take a mic? Any mic is possible? Or you can read from there what is written here. I will help you with the first sentence. First sentence says only smart people can read this. Now you read the rest, yeah.
The rest can be a total mess and you can still read the process. Just keep in mind, do not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Amazing, yeah, and I always thought that spelling was important.
Yeah, let's give her a big round of applause. There are different people who have different morals from that story. When I first landed on this, a friend of mine sent it. The first thought that I came to mind, when I started reading, I said, only SRA, smart. It took a little bit of time, as it would take for anybody who starts off. But once you start off, once you understand the logic behind it, you will be able to read fast. In almost much the same way, when you pick up a subject, originally it might look overwhelming. When it looks overwhelming, you throw it out, it will become a time bomb. You don't throw it out, you tell yourself, no, I have to conquer this, if for no other reason, because it's a subject in the exam, then you will be able to do it. So what is important is to not give up. I also have two more things. I want you to tell me what comes to your mind when you see this number 434. South Africa, okay. Anybody else? Kapil Dev. So the one thing that comes to people's mind is that Kapil Dev was the guy who wrote Richard Hadley's record got 434. But to me, the more important story, that 434 number along with the cricket ball, is what one of you from the rear sent. In 2006, at Johannesburg, in a one-day international, for the first time in history, a team called Australia scored 434 in the first innings. South Africa was to chase that, and at the lunch break, the South African captain Graeme Smith told his teammates, don't worry, 434 is not a big number. I'm sure there must have been at least 6 people there who, like my friend told the professor, must have told Graeme Smith, don't bullshit. But Graeme Smith went one step forward and said, all that we have to do is to score one boundary more than what the Australians did. And at around closing time of the match, when there was about 5 overs to go, a friend of mine called me up and said, whatever you are doing, drop it and go watch television. I said, no, I can't watch television. He said, no, you must go watch television. And in front of an entirely disbelieving world, no, South Africa crossed 434, hit 438 to win the match. This is what Shravan was earlier telling about thinking big. And we are talking about thinking big in the context of a target that is absolutely insurmountable. Absolutely insurmountable, because nobody had ever done that. And when somebody says nobody has ever done that, that there is no precedent, the smart guys tell them, if nobody has done that, you be the first guy to do it. Now I go on to my last thing. So this is about smart study skills, where I also wanted to add the fact that you have to be a big thinker. Can we quickly tell me what were the 4? What was the first one? Process, inquire, practice, smart study. I'll go to the last one. I'll tell you a story. I will show you something on the screen. I want you to then tell me what immediately came to your mind. There is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. What immediately came to your mind, you tell me. I call it the psychologist in the car. You see a car had an accident. When you walk out of this institute, you see a car, lorry hit a car. What comes to your mind immediately? No, don't keep looking at it. That's a bad picture. Don't look at it.
If he had a bumper-to-bumper insurance.
Did you have a bumper-to-bumper insurance? Okay. You never thought what would have happened to the passenger there? A very bad idea. Yeah. Anybody else? Which brand is? Oh, you wanted to know, like, if a Mercedes-Benz has got hit, it is good. You are the true and royal accounting brand. All right. There's a psychologist friend of mine who tells me that by seeing how people respond to situations, you can know which profession they come from. He says the first question that should come in the mind of a good engineer when he sees an accident like that is, what caused the accident? Did the brake fail? Did the clutch fail? Did the horn not work? He says if this engineer first thinks, who is there, who is sitting there, who should be taken to the hospital, then he has done no justice to his 4 years of engineering. Then he then says, the first thing that should come to a doctor's mind is who should be given first aid and how quickly they can be rushed to the hospital. If the doctor thinks which car type it is, how rich this man is, then this fellow has not done any justice to medicine. The first question that should come to the mind of a lawyer is also the first question that should come to the mind of a policeman. Who was at fault? Who jumped the gun? Sorry, who jumped the signal? Who came on the right side of the road? Who came on the left side of the road? And this fellow turned to me and asked me what came to your mind first. To my mind, almost what one of you said came to my mind. So I told him, I thought, no, is this car insured? Then he said, that is the question that should, that is the question that should actually come to the mind of someone who is a good cost accountant. Then I should have kept my stupid mouth shut. So I went one step forward, asked him, what is it that should have come to the mind of a good financial accountant, a good CA who is a good financial accountant? And my friend said, the first thing that should come to the mind of a good financial accountant when he sees a car being hit by a lorry is, which account should be debited first and which account should be debited. The moral of the story is very simple. In whatever you do, you need to be involved. When an accountant thinks what account to be debited, what to be credited, what accounting standard it falls, he's actually done enormous justice to his course because he's completely involved there. So in anything that you do, you need to be involved. So I'll very quickly summarize. We began with the power of the process. We then said it is very, very important to have an inquiring mind. That professor of mine, the remarkable accounting professor, we then said we all need to practice the way Pete Sampras practices. We said that there are smart study skills in terms of reading, in terms of writing, in terms of arithmetic, in terms of having a positive attitude 434. And most importantly, we must all be involved in the subject. I thank all of you for being very, very interactive and having given me the attention. Thanks so much.